Red blood cells. What do I need you to call them on the practical, though?
Erythrocytes.
Erythrocytes, please. If you say red blood cells, I can give you partial credit, but I can't throw you more than that. A lot of these specks, and we're not going to get into which is which, we're going to keep it fairly simple. A lot of these specks in here are platelets. So then it looks like, you know, dust that I'm pointing at. It's probably a platelet. Now usually, as I say, not all of these are. These are definitely okay because they do tend to clump up. Some of these bigger things are probably waste and debris. But anyway, just say it's a platelet. Of course, what do I need you to call them?
Thrombocyte.
Thrombocyte. Then everybody's happy. Okay, so now we're going to look for the different kinds. Again, this might be something that you want to pull out an actual microscope. I do a combination. Some are pictures that I grab from the internet, the ones that are harder to find, the ones that are more important, that you be able to see really clearly everything that's happening. A lot of times I'll grab those from the internet. Other times, things that I know I find in abundance, I'll actually use a slide for. So you'll see a combination. This one down here, anybody, can you figure out what it is? Does anybody know?
Neutrophil? Oh, the biggest
okay,
is
so here's some good things. I'm glad we go through this. First of all, we will not see a basophil. They're the most rare. They're less than 1%, less than 0.1% of a healthy person's white blood cell count. So we're not going to find them. So that means that's never the answer. I will not trick you. It's not a monocyte. What this is a lymphocyte. Lymphocytes are more compact. If you look at it, you can see how this one looks kind of dotted in like it has maybe granules inside. This is a granulocyte. This is an agranulocyte. It's solid, and then the background is clear. It looks more like a red blood cell. There's no granules inside. That leaves us with monocyte and lymphocyte. Lymphocytes are going to be almost entirely dark purple or blue like this, and then they'll have this little halo off to one side usually. So whenever it looks like a solid ball, that's a lymphocyte. A monocyte, it's really going to look like a kidney bean or a pinto bean got stuck inside of this cell, and it would be significantly larger. It would be much closer in size to these cells up here. Okay? Monocytes, even though they're fairly common, they can represent up to 4% of somebody's, maybe no more than that, maybe up to 8%. I can never remember my percentages anymore. Of the blood cell count, they're still hard to find on our slides for some reason. So I didn't search one out, since I know that you can look online and see wonderful pictures of monocytes, and that's where I'm going to pull them from. Because I'm not going to spend 10 minutes trying to set up a practical to find one picture. That's ridiculous. That means that these things up here are not monocytes. They look a little bit granule, which means we're to basophil. We know that can't be the option. So the only other options are it's a neutrophil or an eosinophil. An eosinophil will be bright pink, red, or orange in the background. Obviously, this is not. So that means that this is a neutrophil. Neutrophils are also our only ones that are going to be like super loby in the nuclei. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4 lobes. The only thing that's going to have 4 lobes would be a neutrophil. So here's another one with 1, 2, 3 big lobes to the nucleus. That's also a neutrophil. Predominantly, what you're going to see are neutrophils and lymphocytes, because those are by far the most abundant white blood cells that we have. I was able to take a picture of an eosinophil. They don't come out in color very well on my overhead. So what you want to do is sometime before you leave, I will set up an eosinophil slide. This is an eosinophil, and this is an eosinophil, and I'll show you how to look for one. This might even be a monocyte up here, though it's a little small. So for this one, you are looking for something bright pink, bright red in the background, which means, given the fact that I have to photocopy your tests, not going to put that as a picture from the internet, because it would be black and white and you would have no hope. So it's going to be one that I'm going to find. To test yourself, you can just look at a regular white smear, which is what we're talking about, and it'll be true to all the colors that we've been talking about. You can scan through and try to find some yourself. When you want to see an eosinophil, what I'm going to have up here is we have some that say eosinophilia. What that means is that the stain is actually really loves eosinophils. It'll draw it to the blood sample and stain it really well. That's what you want to look for when you want to look for eosinophils. That's the slide I'm going to pull because it's like 1 second and you've got an eosinophil. Okay, so we won't see basophils. Monocytes for sure will come online. Neutrophils and lymphocytes could be either. Make sure you can tell the difference between those. Eosinophils will only be under the microscope. So that can help a little bit. But most of it's done by color and the shape of the nucleus. So come up and look before you leave for the eosinophil. But otherwise, that's all the slides. So most of the slides are endocrine this time.